Okay, this happened to me. Well, not exactly this, something close enough. And I feel like everybody's got a little version of it. Somebody does you wrong. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be something tiny, it could be something that actually hurt. But then there's this split second right after where your whole body knows what it wants to do before you even thought about it, before what would Jesus do even has a chance to show up in your brain, you already know. You want them to feel it too. I don't think that makes us bad people. I think it just makes us people. But it's wild. If you actually stop and look at it from outside the box, how many ways pop in your head to do that without ever even lifting a finger? Like it's in your brain. You know that thing where you didn't respond to a text for longer than you needed to. You saw the text and you just kind of pushed it away or ignored it. That's really hard to do with an iPhone these days. You have to turn your red receipt off. Ask me how I know. Don't ask me how I know. Yeah, don't. Yeah, anyways. But you tell yourself you're just busy. But in the back of your mind, you know exactly what you're doing. Or the family gathering at Thanksgiving or Christmas, and somebody is just a little short with you, and the whole family can feel it like it's the elephant in the room, and nobody even says a word. Or, and this one gets me, when you say something like, I'm just protecting my peace. And that's true sometimes. But sometimes, if you're honest with yourself, it's really just, well, I want them to know I'm mad and I want them to be mad and hurt for a little bit and just wondering. Y'all, I've done that. And I'm not sitting here acting like I haven't. And in that moment, every bit of it feels justified. It feels like you're just standing up for yourself. You're finally the one who doesn't just roll over and take it. So here's where it gets interesting. Because today, we're talking about what Jesus actually says about this. Not the version people quote when they want to sound spiritual and all holy, but his actual words. And he looks right at an eye for an eye. The one everybody already knows. People use to justify getting even to this day. And he goes, yeah, not that. We don't do that. And what he says instead isn't just let it go. It's not forgive and forget. Well, bless your heart. It's honestly a little stranger than that and a bit harder. If you actually try to live it out the way he says to, people are going to look at you a little bit differently. So stick around because by the time we're done today, an eye for an eye is not going to feel the same or you're not going to think the same way about it. And neither is the next time somebody does you wrong and you feel like you need to react. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Unscripted Conversations. I'm Ashley, and I am so glad you are here with me today for real for hitting that play button. If this is your first time hanging out with us, here's what we're doing. We've been going verse by verse through the Sermon on the Mount. This whole series I'm calling Living the Kingdom Way. We are not skimming through it, just reading over it because we've heard parts and pieces a bazillion times. Every verse is getting its own breakdown because I think, just like I said, we read it, but we've heard it so many times, we kind of just roll right past it. That makes us miss so much of what Jesus actually says that we don't really actually get to the point of it. When the point is usually sitting right there in the details that we roll past. Huh. We just spent time on oaths and keeping your word back in Matthew 33:37. Let your yes be yes. If you haven't caught that one yet, go back and give it a listen because today kind of picks right up where that one left off. Same idea, really. Jesus keeps taking all of these rules everybody thought they understood, but he's showing us There's a whole lot more underneath them. When you actually go verse by verse and you dissect them, it'll blow your mind. There's a whole depth to each and every one of them. And today's verse is a big one. Matthew 5:38-42. This is the one where it talks about an eye for an eye. And I guarantee, however you think you know this one, we're going to slow way down and look at it a bit differently today. So, you know the deal. Grab your coffee, get all comfy and cozy, and let's go. I need to hit the pause button. Before we let go, we got to take a second and pray over what we're talking about. God, we come to you today with this one already feeling a little bit tender because this isn't some far off hypothetical thing for us. This is real life, real situations and hurts. And some that are listening to right now could be very fresh or what they're actually living through. So we're asking you to be right beside us. Help us to actually hear what Jesus is saying today instead of just skimming past it because we think we already know this verse. Show us the places where we've been holding on to something we need to let go of. Or maybe show us the opposite, the places where we've been way too quick to just let it roll off our back and let people walk all over us, thinking that's what you're asking when it's not. Give us ears to actually hear this the way it was meant and give us the courage to let it change something in us today. Not just make us nod along for however long I decide to ramble on today and go back to how we're living. Be right with us, hold our hand, and show us the path you want us to take. We love you, we need you, and we're trusting you to speak to us. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. All right. Y'all have heard the phrase an eye for an eye probably about 1,000 times. And I can tell you, it is probably one of the most misquoted lines in the whole Bible. I include myself in that because I've absolutely said, well, an eye for an eye, right? To a friend who got wrong, meaning go get her back. And I didn't even have a clue of what I was actually quoting. This is Matthew 5:38 in the NLT. It says, "You have heard that the law of Moses says, the punishment must match the injury, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth." Now, y'all, the first thing is this isn't something Jesus made up on the spot. He is quoting a law that was already ancient, so to speak, by the time he is standing on that mountain talking in front of all these people. This goes all the way back to Moses, like centuries before Jesus was born. And the part that really surprised me when I actually dug deep down into it to like dissect the whole thing, that law wasn't written to basically give people permission for revenge. It was written to stop revenge from just running wild. Before this rule existed, y'all, there was no limit on how bad and ugly things could get. If somebody knocks out your tooth and the response wasn't knocking out theirs, it was burning down their house or wiping out their whole family over one bad afternoon. Nobody was keeping score fairly, if you even want to call it that. It just kept escalating and escalating, getting worse and worse until finally somebody ran out of people to hurt. It was bad, y'all. So then this law comes along and it puts an actual limit on it. The punishment has to match the crime, it can't go any bigger. You lost an eye, you don't get to take somebody's life over it. And that's the whole point of this verse. Given what it was replacing, it's actually a good rule. And then you have to look at who it was written for: the judges, courts, people who were put in place to decide what a fair sentence actually looked like for a crime that happened right in front of them. It was never actually intended for people to use on their own just because somebody hurt their feelings. That's precisely what had started happening by the time Jesus is up on this mountain talking. A rule meant for courtrooms that had turned into everybody's using it as a personal excuse. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, somebody's talking about you behind your back, and folks were just treating this verse like it's their green light to just handle it however and whenever they wanted. And that is exactly what Jesus is about to talk about. And he's about to turn it all upside down. He is completely about to flip the script. So Jesus just already spoke about the eye for an eye thing. And now he's getting ready to say something that is going to completely blow the crowd's mind. I mean, like, they didn't even see him going in this direction. Matthew 5:39 says, "But I say, do not resist an evil person. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, offer the other cheek also." Okay, don't hit back. That's it. Not hit back a little softer. Just don't do it. Don't hit somebody back. And what do we teach our children when they're growing up? What do we say? If some big bully comes up to them at school and knocks them on the head, what is the first thing that comes out of our mouth? Knock them back. But that is not what we're supposed to do. When a baby bites you, please don't think I'm a horrible mother. When a baby bites you, what do? You bite them back. Not hard, but just so they can see how it feels. They don't like it. They're going to cry, and then that triggers their brain, like when they look at you and look like, hey, your arm just looks like a nice chicken leg snack right there, I'm gonna take a bite. Maybe that'll trigger a little thing in their head that says, oh yeah, I don't like the way that feels, I don't do that. Is is that bad? I don't know about you, but y'all, my gut reaction to don't hit back is like, no thank you. Because if somebody comes at me, my whole body wants to come right back at them. Not necessarily with my fist, but with something, a comment, a cold shoulder, something. And Jesus gives four examples of this back to back to back. And I really think that's on purpose. One example you could argue with is a one time thing. Four means he's making sure you get it. So there's the cheek thing we just read. Offer the other cheek. Then verse 40, somebody sues you for your shirt, give them your coat too. Verse 41, if somebody makes you carry their stuff 1 mile, carry it for two. Verse 42, if somebody asks to borrow something, don't turn them away. Each one is the exact same idea. Somebody takes something or humiliates you or forces you to do something. Instead of matching it, go past it. Now, here's where I want to actually talk about what this is like for us this week, right here, right now, not 2,000 years ago. Think about the last time somebody got under your skin. I'm laughing because I just got off work and I've been home probably about 20 minutes. So you really want me to think about the last person that got under my skin? Like, yeah. Maybe it was a coworker that took credit for something that you did. Maybe it was a coworker that made a mistake but blamed it on you. That is my life all day, every day. Maybe it's a family member who said something at the supper table and you are literally still thinking about it 3 or 4 days later. Maybe it's your husband. Maybe it's something small. It's the fifth thing this month that has happened, and you are done being the bigger person. You are ready to just explode. So, what does revenge actually look like for us? It's rarely dramatic, y'all. It is The silent treatment or the short answer instead of the wrong one or the short answer instead of the real one. It is telling everybody your side before they get a chance to hear somebody else's. It's holding something over somebody's head the next time you need a little bit of leverage in an argument. And people laugh about this all the time. I see TikToks and reels and everything else. And it's like, the husband doesn't need to make a mistake because the wife's going to pull up 50 million things that you've done over the past 10 years and throw it back at you. Y'all, that is not right. And what Jesus is telling us, that is not what you do. Not because you have to pretend it didn't hurt or because you're just supposed to swallow it, hold your tongue, and just smile, but because getting even doesn't fix anything. It just keeps on escalating and escalating that initial problem or whatever and whatever happened to begin with. So what do we do instead? That's the real question right there. Don't retaliate isn't a full plan. That's just the first half of it. Y'all have heard the phrase kill them with kindness. I mean, we say it all the time, usually about somebody who's driving us crazy, also. And I think that phrase, even as silly as it sounds, it is actually pretty close to what Jesus is getting at here. With don't retaliate only being half the plan, if that's all Jesus said, we would be standing there getting walked all over top of with nothing to actually do about it. But that's not where he stops. The second part is you don't just refuse to fight back, you actually you actively do good instead. That is very hard to do in some situations. I mean, very hard to do. I keep telling y'all, I'm living this right now with my job. I don't talk about a lot of my personal stuff on here, but this is what I'm going through in my everyday life. Yeah. What was I saying? The whole thing behind turning the other cheek, giving the coat, walking the second mile, carrying it further, it is passive. It's not just take it and be done with it. It's actually choosing to be kind on purpose toward the exact person who least deserves it. And it is hard. That is so hard. It is so much harder than just staying quiet. I mean, if you're staying quiet, you can do while you're still fuming on the inside. You're still keeping score. You're still waiting for your moment. But actually being kind to somebody who wronged you, that takes something that staying quiet doesn't take. That's not gritting your teeth and holding it in. That's actually letting go of it. And you're letting go of it enough to do something good instead of the retaliation. Think about what that actually looks like to live out. It is the coworker who took credit for your work, and instead of you biting your tongue and stewing about it, you're the bigger person. You're going to go and you're going to compliment their presentation in the meeting anyway and be genuine because that's who you are choosing to be, regardless of what they did. It's the family member from the supper table. And instead of just avoiding them at the next gathering, you're the one who shows up and asks them about their week like nothing even happened. Not because what happened before didn't happen, but because you've actually let it go. It's your husband that for the fifth time this month, you have asked him to move that pile of crap. Instead of the silent treatment, you're the one that does something kind for him that same day. on purpose, even though every little bit of you wants to just lash out. That's kill him with kindness. Not gritting your teeth through it, actually choosing to do good on purpose to the person who did you wrong. That is class and that is grace right there. And here's the wild part, that's not weakness. Do you know that it takes more strength to do good than getting even ever will? Anybody can knock somebody in the head back. It doesn't take any special big thing to match somebody else's energy. But when they do wrong to you and you do nothing but good and right to them, choosing kindness when every part of you wants to do the opposite, that's strength on a whole different level. That's the kind that Jesus is talking about. And that's what Jesus is specifically asking for right here. Think about how many times you have done something wrong. And what do? God, I am so sorry. I know that I just committed a sin. Please forgive me. And what does God do? God offers you grace. God forgives you. And you keep on trucking. So when somebody does something wrong to you, no matter how small or how large it is, think about the strength and grace that it takes to forgive them, to do good to them, and to keep on trucking. Because you know what? Judging that person for what they did wrong, that's above our pay grade. Can we actually think about that for a second? How many times have we messed up, like really messed up, and gone straight to God and asked for forgiveness? He gives it every single time. He doesn't make us grovel for it. He doesn't bring it back up next week to use against us. He forgives us and lets us keep on going about our day like it's really done. It is. So if that's how God treats us and we mess up constantly, shouldn't we be able to extend the same grace to the person who wronged us one time or time after time after time? Because we do wrong time after time after time. And what does God do? He forgives us time after time after time. But here's what I really want to believe about this. Doing good to somebody who hurt you isn't about being weak. It isn't about pretending it didn't happen. It's about class and grace, just like I just said. It's about choosing to be the bigger person when nobody would blame you for not being. And honestly, how you respond to somebody who's wronged you says a whole lot more about who you actually are. And the wrong that they are doing is just them showing their true colors. Your response shows yours. We went over a whole lot today. An eye for an eye is not permission to get even. It was a limit from way back when revenge didn't even have a limit. And Jesus takes that limit and pushes it even further. Don't retaliate, he says. But don't just stop there either. Do good instead. Kill them with kindness. For real, not just something you say. If they hit you, offer the other cheek. If they take from you, give them your coat as well. If they ask you to do something, do it a little bit more than what they asked. That is not weakness. That takes more strength than getting even ever will. Anybody can hit back. It takes a whole different person to choose kindness towards somebody who doesn't feel like they've even earned it. So this week, when somebody does you wrong, and somebody will, because that's just life, remember, you get to choose what that says about you. Their wrong is on them. What you do next, that's on you. All right, y'all, let's pray. God, thank you for how patient you are with us. We mess up more than we probably even realize. And every single time we come to you, you forgive us, no strings attached. You don't even keep score. Help us to actually carry that into how we treat other people. For everybody listening who's holding on to something right now, somebody who's wronged them and they've been waiting for the chance to get even, we're asking you to loosen that grip a little bit today. Help us to choose kindness instead, even when it's the last thing we feel like doing. Not because of what happened doesn't matter, but because we want to be free of it instead of carrying it around, dragging us down constantly. Lord, give us the strength it actually takes to do that because we know by now it takes more strength than getting even ever will. Help us to show up this week as the kind of people who do good on purpose towards the folks who least expect it from us at all. We love you. We are grateful for your grace and forgiveness. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Okay, so that's an eye for an eye. And honestly, I hope you never hear that phrase and think about it the same way again. Y'all, it was never a green light for revenge. There was a cap on it. And I'll be honest, this one convicted me while I was putting it together and making my little outline because I can think of a couple people in my own life right now where I've been doing the quiet version of keeping score. Not saying anything ugly, but definitely not going out of my way to be kind either. And after going deep into this passage, I don't think that's actually where God wants us to be. So if you're anywhere close to that this week, if somebody's on your list, whether you admit it or not out loud, I want to challenge you to do one thing. Not fix the whole relationship or have one big conversation, just one small, genuine gesture, a little act of kindness towards that person. See what it does in you, even before it does anything for them. And they might not even acknowledge it, and that's okay because you have to answer for you. You don't answer for anybody else. You have to answer for your thoughts, your actions. If this episode did anything for you today, meant something to you, or help you see this in a little bit different light, I would love for you to consider buying me a coffee over at ko-fi.com/simply blessed designs. Share it out with somebody that could help them, or maybe they need to hear it. It generally helps me, y'all. It keeps this going, and I appreciate every single one of y'all. Whether you do that or not, if you just hit that play button, I'm going to tell you, you are appreciated. Thank you for spending this time with me today, and I'll see you next week on Unscripted Conversations. Have a great week and do something nice. Thanks, y'all.